Hi everyone. Today we're going to learn about a software called Mathematica. As an engineer, I would encourage everyone to know at least these two softwares, Mathematica and MATLAB, because reason why is it's such a useful tool which we can use for our different engineering aspects. For example, you can plot, you can solve multiple equations in a much simpler way. Then you can use differentiation, integration, which takes hours when you do it by hand. But using these softwares, it will it's kind of like a time saver for us. So today, what we are going to learn is solely about Mathematica. Know that being a UTEP student, you can get free access to Mathematica software. So just go to the UTEP site and download it. And once you've downloaded it in your desktop, it is somewhat the software Wolfram Mathematica 12.1. So it's just like double click. So right now I'm going to teach you how to create a new document out of it. So you create a new document. It's pretty simple. Like, uh, if you want, you can go to the file and create a new notebook or things like that. So I'm just going to give you a rough idea on Mathematica. So feel free to go outside these tutorial which I'm giving and go and learn more about it. It will be really useful for you guys. So and the first step is like I just want to give you some kind of pointers in this. So I'm just going to write certain things that you all need to know. So all the functions will be starting with capital letters. Then function arguments are enclosed in brackets, like square brackets. Let me tell you, it's square brackets. Then list, ranges, and domains are enclosed in curly brackets. And to execute a command, you need to press Shift plus Enter to run a calculation. So these are the key things that I want you all to know. If suppose you have two variables, x and x space y, okay, it means that x times y, as though it's like a multiplication. If you write it as xy, if you create xy with no space, it means that it is a variable with the name xy. But being said, 5x means 5 times x. And if you write like x raised to 2y, this would just mean like x the whole square into y. Okay, I'm just gonna write it's not x raised to 2y. So if you want x raised to 2y, this is exactly how you write it. So if you write x raised to 2y like this, your answer is going to be this one. That is x raised to 2 into y. Okay, now let's move on to how to assign variables. For example, you want to give a value to a. A is a variable and you want to give a value of 5. You just put a equal to 5 and you press shift and enter. There you go, your output is a is 5. Yeah, if you want to check, I'm going to type a and I'm going to type shift enter. Your output is 5. Yeah, so this is how we do it. And then for example, if in case you don't want to show the a output, all you have to do is put a semicolon. See, if you notice, like after each letter, I mean each sentence, I have put a semicolon. So once I press shift enter, these are not displayed. So let's see what happens if I don't include it. See, the assigned variables will be displayed over here. So if I put a semicolon here, I click, it's not there anymore. Yeah, so again, if I remove the semicolon over here, then I press shift enter, you get your output 5. If I put a semicolon here, you don't get any output over here, but still the variable a will have a value of 5. So before I move further into assigning of variables, I want to introduce you to two new functions. For example, quit and clear. So as you all know, like over here, I have just highlighting this so you all can see. I have written a couple of sentences. So I'm just going to read it out. Capital letters to start all function names. So quit and clear is actually a function name. So as it says, capital letter to start all function names. So I'm going to write QUIT, quit. And then the second sentence is function arguments are enclosed in bracket, basically square brackets. So this one I'm just going to put square bracket. So what does the quit function do? Basically what the quit function does is any definition that we made to a variable. For example, we assign the value a is equal to 5. So if we assign that a is equal to 5, it is defined. Now if I need to remove that, all I have to do is put in the quit command. So if I press the quit command, so before that let me just put a, I don't want the a output to be shown, and enter, shift and enter. I want to see what is the value of a right now. So when I click a, the output is a. So basically you have assigned a value a equal to 5 before. Now after using the function quit, the a value is it's not defined. So I hope you understood the meaning about the use of quit function. Now moving on to clear function. So I'm just going to again assign a is equal to 5. I currently right now assigned a is equal to 5. I just don't want the output to be displayed. Yeah, because we know a is equal to 5. And then how do we use clear function? So in clear function, what we use is capital CLEAR, and then you open the square bracket. So in this one, to eliminate or remove the value assigned to a, all you have to type in the variable which you have assigned the value to, and then close the square brackets, press shift and enter. Now let's see what is the a value. It's again a. So the value will be assigned 5, a equal to 5. Yeah, it's no longer 5. It's just an a. Before I move any further, I want to discuss some common errors that we can do while we assign some variables. So one of the common errors that while assigning a variable can be is, for example, you have a, you want to assign the value a equal to 5, but by mistake we type a double equal 5. So let's see what happens when you press shift enter. Do we get an output of 5 or not? So basically you get an output of a, and you're getting an output of a equal 5, which is absolutely wrong. So if suppose I'm typing, okay, I don't want these results to be printed out. Okay, I just don't want this result to be printed out. This also, I don't want it to be printed out. Let's say, so now I want a value. What is a value? It's just a. So basically you haven't assigned any value. So the main error is basically you put a double equal. So make sure you put single equal, and then let's try this. A is 5, and now you see a changed into 5. So make sure you do not put this double equal over here. Yeah, I'm just writing it a note. I don't want you all to get confused on that. So again, if you're just confused again on what I said, please go back again, try to play it from the from where you're confused. The next error is like, for example, when we're using semicolon, for example, a equal 5, and instead of semicolon, yeah, I mean semicolon is used mainly when you don't want the output to be displayed. For example, such as this. Yeah, so the output is not a display. You can click show output, you can see that, but it's mainly used for that. For example, if you put a colon, what happens? It gives us an error over here. You see there is a red and there's a plus sign over here. A equal cannot be followed by 5 colon. So make sure if this is one of the error, The main reason is you use the wrong punctuation mark. So I would emphasize on this. I would just write using the wrong punctuation mark. So I'm just leaving it as it is so that you all can follow it up. Okay. And then next error while assigning a variable can be, for example, there are certain protected values in Mathematica. So you might be wondering what is protected values. For example, you know pi is 3.14, a long number. I do not know that. Okay, but for example, in Mathematica, p dot I is called pi. Okay, in other terms, it's 3.14. If suppose you're trying to assign a value equal maybe 5, okay, let's see what's the output. See, set symbol pi is protected. So this is another error which can occur. So as it says, you cannot assign values to protected symbols like pi equals 5. So make sure there are so many hidden protected symbols. So please go through it whenever you get time. Oh yes, how to know what are the protected symbols? Let me show you a tool. For example, sorry, I forgot to show this to you earlier. There is a thing called palettes. You go to Basic Math Assistant, and then you have a lot of things over here. So you have your pi, which I was talking about. You have your exponential term. You have your I complex numbers part, infinity. Then what else? Phi, degrees or things like that. If you try to put a variable across that, if you try to put log as a variable, that's going to be like wrong. So if at all you try to assign value for log equal to 5 and things like that, you might end up in a big error. So make sure you don't come across that phase. So when you type it, if it is a protected symbol, it will be coming in black. If it is like a normal variable, maybe T or A, R, E, all this is not, I think this is a easy way to understand if it is protected or not. If it is pi, you get equal 5. Yeah, this is in black color, so I don't think so that you can assign a value. For example, if you want to type just p equal 5, it's possible because this is blue in color. So I think this is one of the way you can really know if it is protected or not protected. I will leave that to you guys to find it out, but let's move on. The next error that which we can come across is we learned about this clear function over here. So in this clear function, for example, we know a equal to 5. Okay, I want to assign a equal to 5. The output is 5. All good. If suppose we use clear, instead of square brackets, if we use curly brackets, a and this. So what I want right now is I don't want the output a equal to 5. Okay, I don't want the variable a to be assigned as 5. So if I use clear function as a, and it should remove my output. But since I use curly brackets, let's see what the error is. Look, some weird output. So using the wrong brackets, I'm just writing it over here and leaving it. Let me just show you the correct way. So it should be clear and square brackets A, and close the square brackets. You press Shift Enter and then you type A. I just want to check the value of A, and it's just A. There's no value assigned to it. So I hope you understood the concept so far. So if you have any doubts, please go back again. First you learn these and then you go ahead. So now, as of what we learned so far is assigning values and using the two functions called quit and clear, and some certain tips like x space y means it's x times y. If you put xy, it's actually going to be a variable just like a, and then 5x means it's 5 times x, and when you using these kind of notations like exponential terms, be very careful. Uh, now I would like to go further into creating equations and how we will assign values and variables, etc. So right now we know how to assign a value to a variable. So for example, I'm just going to put y equal 5, yeah, and then I want an equation called x equal y plus 5. So if I do this, my solution is supposed to be 10 because we have assigned y equal 5, and then x, your variable x, should be y, that is 5 plus 5, 10. So let's take a look. So y equal to 5, it's displayed over here. X equal to x, output is displayed over here. So this is one way to assign a variable, and then you put it into an equation. There is a different way of assigning a variable, which is by using a term called slash dot. How do we assign using a slash and dot? Let's say you have an equation. Okay, I'm just going to put quit here so that all the values above is like gone. Alright, so I just want to check again if x has any values. No. And if y has any value, let me just check. Okay, so x and y has no value. Alright, so how to use slash and dot again. So assigning variable with slash and dot. Yeah, so how do we do it? So we have x equal to, I'm going to use the same equation, x equal to 5, and now I'm going to put slash dot y. I'm going to create an arrow, so arrow equal to 5. Yeah, this is all what you have to do. You press shift enter, you get your answer. All right, so if we assign, for example, if we assign y is equal to 1 by 2, your answer is 11 by 2. So another problem with this is, how do we convert this fraction into a decimal? It's pretty simple. Okay, conversion of fraction to decimal. Conversion of fraction to decimal. The command what we are going to use is slash slash capital N. Alright, so I'm just gonna press shift enter because I want this output 11 by 2 over here. So to do that, I just put 11 by 2 slash slash N, and if I click enter, it's going to be 0.5. I'm sorry, 5.5. So when I press slash slash enter, it's going to be 5.5. So you do the math and you're going to get 5.5. So now I want to brief some common errors that we can do in this. Is it's pretty simple, I would say. I'm just gonna write it down over here. I'm not going to show you anything. Common errors are maybe missing out a slash or a dot. Okay, while you're assigning a variable, you miss this one slash, you're going to get an error. For example, let's try that. 11 by 2 slash capital N. Let's see what output are you getting. Something it's 11 by 2n. Yeah, so which is now what we want. We want a decimal. So make sure you do this way, you're going to get 11 by 2n, not fraction to decimal. Or if suppose you are over here, you miss out a slash or a dot, let's see what error are we going to get. So I'm just going to use the quit x equal y plus 5 slash, okay, y 1 by 2 or 5. So just so you know that whenever you do shift and enter, always sometimes there's going to be a running something comes as running in brackets over here, so please wait for that. See, this is not the answer, the output that I wanted. You missed out a dot here. That's the sole reason why you get a different weird answer. So make sure these are the common errors that you can come across in the small unit over here. So play around with it, till you familiarize these topics. Now you're pretty much familiar with how to create a variable, assign a value into an equation. So the next thing that I want to make you familiarize with is how to create a function. For example, I mean, function of x, function of y, function of z. I mean, you guys might have heard about it. So that's what I'm trying to show over here. So, like for example, function of x. Yeah, I'm just gonna press quit again so that no other values is repeated. All right. So, and I'm gonna put a semicolon so it doesn't come. So how to create a function of x? We have an easy command which is called f open bracket. You type the variable x, then you put an underscore, you close the square brackets, then put a colon, then you put equal to whatever variable is it, okay, whatever value you want to give, or whatever x value you want to give. Yeah, so I'm just going to give you an example for it. So I want to call a function of x underscore, close the square brackets, put a colon, and then it's equal to, I want to say it's equal to x squared. So x raised to 2. So this is x squared. So I press shift enter. So if you notice there's a running over there, it is a quick way. So if you want to see that running thing, just rewind it a little bit and see that there's a running thing over here. All right, so you have a x squared. Right now, if I type, I want to assign a value of 2 into this value. So it's going to be f of 2, or what is going to be the answer? 2 raised to 2. It should be 4, yeah? So when I press shift and enter, yeah, there you go, your answer is 4. So this is how you create a function, by putting f square brackets, then the x, it can be any, if it is a function of y, it can be f square brackets y underscore, yeah, and then make sure you know how to put underscore. It's shift and a dash key. So underscore, then you close the square brackets, then a colon, equal, you put the value. It can be x squared plus x cube or whatever. For example, you just want to make it a little bit interesting by saying x cube 2. If I press shift enter, and if I press shift enter over here, your output is 12. So what I did is assigned a value of 2 for x, and then it calculated and gave me an output of 12. In this one, if suppose I want to clear the function out, okay, I don't want this x variable as 2. So what I'm going to do is clear, open the square brackets. I'm going to put just f. I'm not going to write any of these square brackets, x dash, nothing. Yeah, and I'm just going to press shift enter. It's clear. How do we check? Okay, for example, I'm going to put f square brackets 2. I'm assigning a value 2. If I press shift enter, I should get 12. Yeah, well, shift enter, I'm getting f of 2. Basically the whole function is gone. It's vanished. Yeah, so some common errors that we can come across in this is missing out underscore or colon, or using square brackets, using curly brackets instead of square brackets. So let's see what happens if you use curly brackets over here, x dash underscore curly brackets colon equal x squared. So there is some kind of tag times, f dash x is protected and things like that. So that is one of the errors. So go back, and if you correct it, you get your output. So this is one of your errors. So let me write it down. Using the wrong brackets. What you are supposed to be using was f square brackets. So the second common error that can happen is, for example, you put f of a semicolon equal a square, and if you put f of 2, you will get error like f of 2. But only thing I missed out is an underscore here, and then if I press shift enter, so make sure you put your underscore, your colon, everything correctly. Or if suppose I put a double equal to, what happens is here you get an error. So make sure these are the common silly errors that we can make while we are writing down big equations or signing some values and things like that. So make sure you get these. You take a look at all these common errors that can come across. The next what I'm going to talk about is some useful Mathematica functions. If you see the whole tutorial, you will come across different functions what we are using in the in this Mathematica software. I've given some examples too. So it's just to give you an understanding of what they are and what we can, and where we can use this. So the first one that I would like to talk about is a function called full simplify. So capital full, okay, capital F U L simplify, capital S simplify. All right. So what does this do? So I'm going to give you a simple example just to make you guys understand. See, if you type full and there is see this full simplify, you can just click this out over here. All right, by hand, I mean write the whole thing. Full simplify, or you open the square bracket. So you all know what a square plus 2ab plus b square is, which is the a plus b the whole square. Yeah, so I'm just gonna use that over here, plus 2ab plus b square. Close the square bracket, shift enter. Oh, so well, I found what the error was. So if you guys remember, I in the earlier sentence which I wrote, I wrote over here, xy with no space is the variable with the name xy, and if you want to have x times y, you need to put x space y. Yeah, so that's the error that happened over here. So I put a square plus 2ab as together. There should be a space in between, or else it's just going to read as ab as a variable. See, there is two different ways how you can put two small multiplication sign here, but it kind of takes away the beauty of it. So it's much easier to put 2 space a space b, and then now when I press it, shift enter, it's going to be a plus b the whole square. So this is the whole idea behind full simplify. And there is one more term called simplify, which has the same function. For example, a plus, if you notice that this answer and this answer is the same, basically what both did was simplify it to a plus b the whole square. So you might ask me, what is the difference between simplify and full simplify? So they are similar functions, okay, but full simplify takes a longer time to run because it goes through all the available rules in Mathematica and then it generates an answer. So if you are not going for a big complex problem, if at all you come across a very complex problem, and if you type full simplify, it may take a lot of time to generate your results. But if you use simplify, it will give you a very simple answer, but there is pros and cons with both of it. So since I think especially in your dynamics class, I would say use just the simplify function. You don't have to use full simplify. I don't think so, but you can consult with your professor and get it right. Yeah. So for me, I have just used simplify in most of the time, and later on I have given some examples. Even in that, I have used the simplify function. I haven't used a full simplify, so it's upon your discretion. So the next function that I would like to introduce you guys to is expand. So the name itself kind of tells what the function does. So the example is expand. For example, right now you have a plus b the whole square. I want to expand this. Okay, I'm going to close the bracket, enter. There you go, you got a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. So you might ask me, is it really useful? I do not know. I'm just putting it so that you guys know what are the different functions that's available in Mathematica. Then next is power. Next is a power function which I would like to introduce you to. So what does it do basically? It's simple. Okay, a raised to b. How do we do that? That's how, using the power function. So in power function, what we do is, for example, I'm just going to put a comma here and I'm just going to write, I want 2 raised to 100. All right, how do we do that? So what I'm going to do is power, use the function power, and then I'm going to put 2 comma 100. You see, the difference, 2 and it's raised to 100, so it's divided by, it's separated by a comma. Then you close the square brackets, enter. Oops, I don't want this answer, sorry. And this is your long big answer. Yeah, so the next function that I want to use is square root. So we use a function called sqrt, close the square bracket, and so it's simple. It's the simple square root. This is pretty useful. At times you have to put a square root of a big equation or something like that. You can just easily use this function over there. Square root. I want of square root of 4. Oh, again, the big answer is coming. So it is 2. Yeah. So I hope you guys understood what exactly are these functions. I'm not gonna explain it further. I'm just gonna tell you some common errors that occur in this session. Is we might miss out to put capital letters over here. S as capital, P as capital, E as capital, because all of these are functions. As I said earlier, if you recollect, capital letters to start all function names. So make sure any function that you're using, it should be with capital letter. The first letter should be in caps. So let's see what happens if you put a small letter and do it. 4, shift enter. There you go. You are not getting any output out of it. So this is the main error what I'm talking about. Use capital letter to start the function. So this is the error, and the correct way is sqrt capital S with 4, and there you go, enter. It's 2. It's just an example. And then the next example is like as I've previously told, using curly brackets instead of square brackets. Since in keyboard, I believe in everyone's keyboard it's on the same button. So I would say make sure you guys don't mess it up in that area. The next thing is I would like to move on to is the interesting part of solving equations. Coming on to the topic of solving an equation, we use the function called solve, open bracket, close bracket. That's it. Yeah. So I'm just going to give you a simple example of how to solve x minus 1 the whole square, yeah, equals to 0. All right. So I'm just going to give you an example of how to solve this particular problem. So we know, like, if you keep it, it should be, the answer should be x equal to 1 when you simplify it and solve it. So there's a simple command. The simple function is you use solve function, then you open the square brackets, then you put in your equation as x minus 1 the whole square. Okay, make sure you put double equal, okay, not single equal but double equal to 0. Then you want to solve for what? X. You want to get the value of x. You close the brackets, you press shift enter, and then you would get your value as x as 1. Yeah, so this is exactly how you try to solve the equation. You can, uh, I'm just doing this one example because this is pretty easy how to use the solve function. Only thing is, once you put in the equation, you make sure in your problem it might be x minus 1 the whole square equal to 0. But in Mathematica, when you use the solve function, you have to use x minus 1 raised to 2 equal 0, comma, and the value what you want to find, x. So you get your output x is 1. Now moving on to how to solve multiple number of equations when you have for example, you have two equations. How do we solve it? So for that, when it comes to solving of multiple equation, we have to make sure there are certain things that we need to follow. There are a couple of methods in which you can do it, but I'm just going to talk on one method, which is much easier. So solving a single equation is pretty much easy. You just solve and you put in the equation equal to 0, and you write down comma what answer you want to find. So in solving of multiplication, for example, we have two equations such as ax plus y equals 0, and we have uh, 2x plus 1 minus a into y equal 1. So I want to solve these two equation. A is a constant, but x and y are the ones which I need to find. So now I'm going to show you how we would literally solve this equation. First, you're gonna I usually use quit so that any early assigned variables might be taken away, or maybe by mistake they have transferred some value is still there assigned to a variable. So all the script just eliminates everything off. So I'm gonna create a variable equations, okay, equals. All right. So I'm gonna create a list. For that, I'm putting curly brackets a space x, because a times x, plus y equal 0, just like what we did over here, then I want to add one more equation, so I'm going to put comma, enter, 2x plus open 1 minus a, and then space y equal 0. After this, I'm going to close curly brackets. So you might be wondering why these curly brackets. If you all recollect from the first statement which I made, the curly brackets, list, ranges, and domains are enclosed in curly brackets. As you see over here, you have in equation, you have a list of equations. So maybe in this one, I just have two. Maybe in, I think the third example which I have for you, it has a multiple number of equations where it is easier to list down all the equations and close the curly brackets. So how do we solve it? Same, use the solve function, open the square brackets, and then I'm going to write equations. Over here, if you notice, we are writing the equation straight away, but since over here we have two equations, we are assigning a variable equations which contains a list of two equations, and then you're writing this variable here, and then I'm opening the curly brackets I want to find x comma y. I want to find both the terms x and y. So, and then I close the square brackets, shift enter. Oh, it's 1. Sorry, my bad. Shift enter, and this is your answer. So in this one, this is your two equations in this one and this. And once you do the solve, you get your final answer as this. I hope this is pretty much much more easier. I would encourage you guys to go and solve some easy problems which you can find so that you get familiar with this, or you can use the same formula, same problem, and try to solve it by yourself and see if you're getting the answer. So moving on to the second problem, in this I would like you guys to try it out. So I'm just going to give you the problem. So for example, I have 4a plus b equal 5. Okay, and the second equation is 10a plus b equal 6. All right. What I want is I want you guys to solve for this equation and then take this answer, A and B answer, and put it on to another equation of maybe let it be C equal root of, okay, let me use pallets, root of 2. Again, I want the pallets. Okay, never mind. 2c b plus a. So once you get an answer from a and b, I want you guys to apply it in this equation and get me an answer for c. So pause the video and try it by yourself, and then once you are stuck, come back and try to see for the answer. So right now, what I'm going to do is pretty simple. I'm just going to first write the equations. So what are the two equations I have? First, which I need to solve is 4 space a plus b equal 5, comma. My second equation is 10a plus b equals 6. I close the bracket and then enter. Okay, I would say just press shift enter. Okay, there's a plus b is protected. Alright, well, I got 10a plus b is protected, so that means there's something wrong. Yeah, so I missed out a double equal, so that was a error. So these are the equations I laid it down: 4a plus b equal to 5 and 10a plus b equal to 5. Now to solve, I'm gonna give a normal variable like t equal solve square brackets equation, comma, curly bracket a comma b, curly bracket close, square bracket close, and then shift enter. So right now I got a as 1 by 6, b as 13 by 3. All right, so I'm just gonna make this answer. I want it to in fraction, so I mean sorry, in decimals. So what I do is, since that's the main reason why I assigned t over here, either you can keep it this way and then towards the end you can simplify it, but I'm just gonna I assign this t so that I can just put t / capital N. So my answers is a is 0.166 and b is 4.33. Now using this, I want to substitute this values in this equation. So how do we do it? For that, if you remember the first equation of this one, this is exactly what I'm going to use right now. So it is going to be, I'm going to assign another variable y equal solve, open square brackets, and then this equation, I'm just going to put a double equal, comma, c, enter. I have this equation c equals to root 2 into root a plus b. So now how do I assign values to this? If you recollect the above like somewhere here, I talked about assigning values over here, assigning variables with slash dot. That is exactly what I'm going to use over here. Okay, slash dot, and I'm going to, so t has the value a and b. So that's why I'm calling t value, shift enter, c equal to 3. So I hope you understood the simple concept of how to solve the answers. Yeah. And then moving on, this is your problem number 3, where you have a value given 0.2, b value given 10, and then you have 6 equations: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Out of the 6 equations, I want you all to find out what is C, D, E, F, G, H. So pause the video, try it on your own. So in this one, how I'm going to start is obviously with a quit, so that there's no values taken from above. And then I'm going to write my given values, which I already know, that is 0.2 and b equal 10. So why I put the semicolon is because so that these output won't be displayed in the answers when I press shift enter. Now for the 6 equations, I have to write it by one. Equations equal, open the curly bracket. I'm just going to do the simple copy paste. Alright, so 2c minus 98.1 equal 10d. Make sure you put double equal, then you put comma. Then you copy the next one. Again, don't forget the double equal, comma. Then you have the next equation. Again, don't forget the double equal in between, comma, comma. Yeah, please, sorry, I forgot the double equal. Then you copy this one. Again, double equal. Oh, oops, it should be curly brackets close. So I have my equations, so I'm going to press shift enter. So once I run, before you proceed further, please check that these are your equations: minus 98.1 plus 2c equal to 10d minus c plus 0.2. So they have substituted the value from a and they put it over there, equal to 10f. So again, yeah, ab. So cross check all your, whether you have all your 6 equations available, and then move on to the next step. So the next step is basically simple. Solve. I'm open the curly square brackets. I'm going to type equations, and then I'm going to open the curly brackets, comma, the curly brackets. So now here is where I want to write down all these things, what I want to find. I'm going to list it down here. Close the curly brackets, close the equation, press shift enter. There you go. I have C, D, E, F, G, H. So try to cross check with it. There might be a small minor point differences, but if your answers are similar to this, you're good to go. I mean, you're pretty much okay with the solving equations. So before I end up with this tutorial, I just want to talk about, we can discuss on common errors. One of the common errors is using square brackets instead of curly brackets for these equations. For example, what happens if for example, I'll take the easy problem out over here. Alright, so I'm going to copy this problem over here. So just for our understanding, I'm just going to bring here. Alright, so quit writing a simple equation over here. What happens if I put square brackets over here instead of the curly brackets? Yeah, and I try to run the program. Basically, I'm not getting any output. I'm getting an error saying equation equal cannot be allowed ax plus y. So the only reason is I missed out the curly brackets. So in this one, the common error, one main error is using the wrong brackets. Please make sure that you follow as it is. So for equations, it's supposed to be curly bracket here, because this is a list of equations what you have. And then once you go for solve, you have equations written in the square brackets, and then you come over here, x and y what you want to find is also a list of things what you want to find. So that's why it's in curly brackets. Make sure you don't mess up the brackets. So if I press enter, there you go, this was our previous answer. So using the wrong brackets, that is one of the errors. All right. So next common error is when you use in an equation, failing to use double equal in an equation. So please make sure in these sort of equations, when you put listing down equation, make sure you have this double equal sign over there. If not, you wouldn't generate any equations out. So for example, there's going to be, I'll just copy that and I'm going to write quit. Okay. And then, so if I generate this now, I'm supposed to get these two equations over here. Yeah, what happens if I miss out double equals? There you go, ax plus y is protected, and so I'm not getting, I have no value. I just have one equation. The second equation is 0. So make sure you don't end up having these sort of errors. And the last error is if you type a variable incorrectly. For example, if you use capital A instead of small a in the previous example as shown, or you have dependent equations, or there is no solution. So make sure that you guys don't have any of these kind of stuff. For example, over here, what if, let me just copy this again and show you what it means. So I have a quit function. I'm going to close this. I have an equal. All right, and then I'm going for solving this. So now I want to solve this equation. For that, I'm going to call the equation here, and then, for example, curly brackets, I'm putting capital A, comma, capital X, comma, Y, okay, curly brackets close, and then close the square brackets, enter. I'm not getting any values. See, there's some sort of weird answer. So that is the next problem. That is the next error that what we have. So hopefully, I believe this was a pretty good introduction for you all who are trying to do it for the first time. Please try to solve more problems, especially when it comes to more than one equations like this. What in problem 3 what we did, where we have multiple of equations, make sure you list it down in this way so that it's pretty clear and we can go back and see what the error is. If we have missed out a double equal, if we missed out a comma, if we missed out if we used square brackets instead of curly brackets. So each step as you go through it, please take a look at it properly, and once you come to solve equations, make sure you put a curly brackets here and then list down all what you want to solve. Yeah, I hope this tutorial was pretty good for you guys. Stay tuned.